Hello, this is Dawn Doherty, and welcome to another session of Executive Self-Mastery. And this is session 3, Creating Clarity. And I'm so excited about sharing another powerful session with you where you'll gain the wisdom that, I've been aggregating and synthesizing. In one short hour, you will gain what has taken me 7 years to pull together and to place in a form that will be so meaningful for you and so moving. And today, yes, creating clarity is what we're talking about. And the real opportunity for us is to create motion in our lives. So I'm going to, as always, just kind of switch my screen over here for you. And you all know that I love using my iPad when I share. So just to give you an understanding of what we're going through today. So we're going to review what intention actually means. I'm guessing 99.9% of you out there have an opportunity to gain a better understanding of what intention means and the power that it has as a moving force in our life. Then we're going to audit where you are right now, because certainly if we're speaking about heading in a new direction, it's our opportunity to understand where we are now before we go on the journey to what we're heading towards. And then I'm going to let you in on this powerful success mechanism that is embedded in each of us that most of us don't even know about. It's called the reticular activating system. And I'm going to give you some strategies around getting that going for you. We're going to speak about the power of vision boards and visual cues in moving you forward in your life. We'll do an exercise that I call stepping stones, where we have our intention ahead of us and we get very specific around what we pay attention to as we move towards the intention. And then I'll introduce to you a very powerful tool that I use with my VIP clients, and it's called the Core Coaching Club Action Sheet. Okay, guys, so let's get right into this. So we're talking about intention. And what is the meaning of intention? Deepak Chopra, one of my favorite gurus and mentors, he says that intention breeds attention. Intention breeds attention. So when I have something very clear in front of me, then I will understand what it is to do every single day. And as I have a day that's set up with items that I'm going to pay attention to, there's no room for fear. There's no room for overwhelm and anxiety. And that allows us to move more swiftly as we go through this life. I want to give you a little overview or just summary of what we've covered thus far. We spoke about the 3 questions. And I'll remind you of what they are because it really fits in with today's lessons. The 3 questions are: who am I? Why am I here? And what is my purpose? And for many of us, and I think I even remember answering these questions in a way where it was all about other people, right? I have this deep responsibility in this lifetime to humanity, for fixing humanity. And when we understand, number one, that we're all one, right? We will get away from this notion that working on myself is selfish. Right? If I had this belief that I was placed in this world because I had a deep responsibility to humanity, then that old belief was about, well, if I work on myself, if I set an intention, if I actually allow myself to feel worthy of these big desires that I have, then that shifts, the paradigm shifts. So instead of us believing that I have this deep responsibility to humanity, which really is a distraction, because we're here. Remember, we talked about the reason, who am I? I'm unlimited and I'm powerful. Why am I here? I'm here to gain appreciation for this, which is love, which is my expanded self, which is the God, universe. The fact that anything we can ever desire is already in our field of experience. We're just not choosing to acknowledge it. So who am I? I'm unlimited. Why am I here? To move towards this. And if I came here as this weighted down person or this small person, then I'm going to be on this journey. And yes, we talked about the fact that there are these eggs of discomfort. There are all of these situations and people we placed in our journey so we can grow. With that said, I'm on a journey. So that means I'm moving forward. So intention actually acts as a catalyst for us to move forward. So if it is necessary for me to have something in front of me that's drawing me forward as I go through this life, then you can see that it's not a selfish act to have big desire. It is a requirement in what we were set out to do, which is, what is my purpose? My purpose is to reclaim my personal power so I can gain this appreciation for what is true, which is unlimited happiness and joy. We're here for that. And every path to that is something that's entertaining. Work is one path to that. Relationships are one path to that. So today we're going to get very clear on how we can create powerful paths to what we ultimately want to move towards. Okay? So you guys are with me so far, right? So that's what intention is all about, and that's why it's so important, because it breeds attention. So let's go to the wheel of life, the wheel of life. And this is an exercise, I'm going to try to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. This is one of the exercises I do with my clients, and I recommend you all, when I have this recording available to you, opt into this worksheet. And the wheel has different areas, and I will call them out to you. So what we have now is an opportunity to really audit the different aspects of our life. So on a scale from 1 to 10, and perhaps you have a piece of paper with you right now, I invite you to rate how satisfied are you with your personal life, your home life, your family life. How settled are you in that area, or how energized are you? On a scale from 1 to 10, what does that look like in terms of satisfaction? Career, work, your business life. On a scale from 1 to 10, how satisfied are you in that area? Number 2. Number 3 is health and well-being. 4 is finances. 5 is community, friendships. Area 6, and what we're doing here in a big way, is spirituality and learning, understanding the truth as opposed to just going through the motions of life. Number 7 is fun and enjoyment, and we always leave a blank for you to fill out. Perhaps that area can be something about legacy, perhaps it's a specific project, but how are you satisfied in each of those areas? And the reason why I bring that up is because that's the first step in setting intention, is that wheel of life. And what we're going to do is we're going to take your, let me go back on that. We're going to take your wheel of life, levels of satisfaction, and convert it into what I call this intention setting exercise that I'm going to introduce you to right now. So once we get a sense of our satisfaction in all the different aspects and really, call to mind what's going on for us in all those different aspects of our life, we're going to do an exercise that I call 1 year from now. And in 1 year from now, what you're going to do is find a quiet space, sit down, take a pen and a pad, and you're going to write the script of your life as if it's already happened. And you're going to say, what that life looks like in the different aspects. The wheel is a great tool to support you in crafting this scene from a movie. This is the movie that you're creating for yourself. Remember, in both of our sessions, we spoke about the movie, right? Which really is something that we get to produce and direct. This is what we experience on a daily basis. Remember the universal principle that I shared with you, the way we see ourselves is the way we experience the world. So if I can see myself, my life in a very clear manner by creating this script that powers the movie, which is this intention setting exercise, then when I place the power onto this script, what will happen for you, and it's happening for me every day, is you will start experiencing the thought. The thought. It all starts with a thought, and that's setting intention. So I'm going to go to one of my viewers here, and I know you have a lot to say, Britt, about, let's see, I'm going to unmute you, about this whole notion around thinking versus thought, about how most of us were conditioned to believe, oh my gosh, we have to come up with all the answers and live up to other people's expectations, as opposed to the thought, which is getting very super clear on what it is that we want. So what is your experience in working with me around this?
Well, the biggest thing is what occurred to me over the past few days is, instead of thinking, we just need to allow thought to be part of our everyday moments, because if we're thinking, we're either living in the past or we're living in the future. If we just allow thoughts to come in, that is truly how we are living in the now. And I know you haven't mentioned meditation yet, but I truly think that meditation is a way of getting to just allowing thoughts to come in and living in the moment of now.
Yes.
And it helps you be clear. It helps you get your intention together. It helps you live in your script of life. And I'm experiencing it on a very high level right now.
Yes, yes. So thank you for sharing, Britt. And I love this. I love what you shared about, the past and the future. And one of the things I have here on my board is the only thing that's real is now. And now, I stay in the now in a very, very powerful way when I have set intention. Intention anchors my now. Anchors my now. Intention anchors my now, because when I have a script, when I understand what I am going to set, as my path for the day, there's no room for thinking, meaning there's no room to go to the past and relive maybe mistakes we've made. Don Miguel Ruiz says in the Fifth Agreement, we're the only live living creatures who punish ourselves for mistakes, hundreds of times, as opposed to acknowledging a bad move and moving on. When my dog makes a bad move, it's out of his mind after he goes through that moment. For some reason, we've been conditioned to keep going back to this past, and it robs us of the now. The intention anchors the now. We think of the past to prevent a future outcome, right? We're so, and this is the distinction I want to make. I talk about this 1 year from now exercise, and you may say, Dawn, wait, aren't you contradicting yourself? You're telling me to be in the now, yet we're doing this exercise around creating the script a year from now. Well, here's the thing. I say a year from now because time is a tool for us to vision our now. So once we do a year from now script, as I stated, it becomes this magnet that helps us to create inspired forward motion each and every day. So in moving, we have no room for what weighs us down. In moving, we are aware of opportunities to reclaim our personal power and to dissolve discomfort. So we head towards what we're looking to build here, which is self-mastery, moving towards the most powerful version of who I am. So then I can show up as this highly inspiring person for those around me. So I can be that sought after professional and do business in a big way because I am presenting myself as being inspiring and motivating and engaging. Whatever it is that you desire, this motion that you're going to create with intention will get you there. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about something that I mentioned earlier, which is this embedded success mechanism that each of us carry, and it's called the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system. And here's something to wrap your brain around. And when I learned about this, it did blow my mind. Scientists now know that the brain receives 400 billion bits of information each second. I'll say that again. The brain receives 400 billion bits of information each second, coming at us like a fire hose. And just to give you a perspective, it would take 600,000 average size books filled with ones and zeros. A bit is either a 1 or a 0. So imagine 600,000 books stacked, you know, back to back. It's almost a football field of books with ones and zeros in it. That is the amount of information, 400 billion bits of information that come to us each second. Here's the thing, guys. We can only process 2,000 bits a second. So it's up to us to choose the right bits, right? The bits that are going to allow us to grow, the bits that are going to uncover the miracles, the bits that will have us meeting our next best client, experiencing joy, inspiring people. Yet if we think the same old thoughts, we're going to attract the same old bits. So I was speaking with a client this morning, and she was telling me about where she wants to take her intention, and she'd like to, you know, meet somebody, a partner to grow with. And the language that we use is really, really critical because it's, I think we were talking about doing her profile online, and she was starting off talking about, I don't want anyone who isn't serious. I don't want anybody who isn't serious. Well, we're going to attract the 2,000 bits of information of not serious. The universe can't hear what it is that we don't want. We're just going to expand on what it is that we're articulating. So what we're going to do with setting intention is to get really, really clear on the 2,000 bits that we do want. And then from this exercise, you're going to have these goals, what it is that you're moving towards, that have you excited about waking up each morning with inspired forward motion. So I'm going to just go into the next session here so we could move right along. And I know I'm going pretty quickly, so I want to summarize what we've spoken about up until this point. We spoke about the fact that deep responsibility to humanity starts with deep responsibility to me. That's where it starts. I am not good for humanity if I'm weighted down with fears and overwhelm. And this commitment to intention has me creating a deep responsibility to myself. So that's the first thing we spoke about. We went into what the definition of intention is. And the definition of intention is something that acts as a magnet as I wake up each day, as I move through the reasons why I'm here, which is to reclaim more and more of my personal power. Britt, when she spoke with us, she spoke about the now being thought, and thought is that which I desire. Intention is that which I desire. So intention actually anchors us in the now, and we release the old patterns of thinking, which is reliving the past and worrying about the future. So intention allows us to stay in the only moment that's real, which is right now. Okay, and then I introduced the exercise of 1 year from now. And in this lesson, you'll have the worksheet. You'll sit with pen to paper and write the script of your life as if it's already happened. So, perhaps a year from now, I'm about to get on a plane to speak with my book in my hand to a group at a retreat in Fiji. You get the idea. You write it down, and that is what has us moving forward. We talked about reticular activating system, that once we get very clear on that which we desire, it comes into our field of experience. Have you ever purchased or leased a car? Like, I remember when I leased my 250 SL Mercedes, and I left the showroom thinking, my gosh, this car is so unique. I've never seen anything like it, tan interior. Well, I left the showroom, and guess what? I experienced, I think that same day, 4 other cars, the same color, just like my car, because we get to see those 2,000 bits that we would not otherwise see once we get clear on our thoughts. So this exercise around intention gets us clear on our thoughts. And I'm going to go to my co-host here just to get a little perspective on what it is that I've presented so far. And if there's any, I also like checking in with all of you because I want to make sure that, that if there's any clarity or any questions you may have, that I'm here to get clear with you. So Britt, are you with me so far?
So far, so good.
Any questions or what's coming up for you as I shared this embedded success mechanism that so many of us really don't even understand that we have?
Well, to me, it's amazing that we only truly receive 2,000 bits when we're getting 400 billion bits of information given to us every second. And it is true, I've experienced the reticular activating several times after I've purchased something or after I've seen a person or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I'm with you. Everything's good on my end.
Great. Yes. And I love, so all we have to do, and it's so amazing, is to choose wisely. And the tool that helps us choose wisely is setting intention. So let's go into the practical application. Now, once we have our year all written out, you know, what I see for myself with relationships, what I see for myself with business, perhaps my environment where I'm living, you know, perhaps what I'm learning or how I'm growing, how I am leaving a legacy, and how I'm contributing. All of these are aspects that my clients get very specific with in this exercise around creating intention. And now let's talk about how we actually move through each day, through each month. And it's an exercise that I call setting, well, first of all, before I would talk about that exercise, let's go back to the reticular activating system and to a man that most of you know, Jim Carrey. You may or may not know the story, but there was a point in Jim Carrey's career when he wasn't so successful. He's pretty down and out, starting off as a comedian. And one day, I believe he was sitting on a hill in his car, and he had this thought. He set this intention for himself. And the thought was that he was going to get paid $10 million. This is a little check I'm writing out here, for services rendered, acting services rendered. And there's a link, you could find it on Google, and he's on Oprah, and he tells this story, how this intention of this belief in himself, that he knew this unlimited, powerful being that he was on his way to uncovering that intention. And this became a magnet that has him now inspiring so many people. He's speaking at graduation ceremonies and really getting young people energized around going out into the world. And it all started when he set his intention and he carried around this check, this $10 million check. And it led to the bigness. So one of the things I take my clients through, and I will have you doing as a part of this particular session, the first thing is, number one, getting your vision board together. And you know, some people refer to something as the big why. I know many of you in the coaching world have heard about the big why. And my version of it is the big why not. And let me tell you the difference between the two of them and why I think you'll love my version of it. So the big why is this altruistic, you know, I want to save the world. I have this deep responsibility to all things outside of me. And so many of us want to believe that that's what's going to get us going. And yes, I understand, we're one. And I remember I said, when we get ourselves into anchoring intention, when we start moving, everyone moves with us. And that's how we elevate the world. That's how we lift people up and we show them that happiness is possible. Oneness is the opposite of fear. Oneness is the opposite of struggle. So when I talk about the big why not, I'm giving you permission to have deep desires. It is not selfish. It's the least selfish thing you can do, is to have this view of the big why not. And we've all heard about vision boards. And yes, when we place something on a board, it has a form. So the form may be the house, the form may be the relationship, right? The form may be the vacation. What we're doing is we're anchoring what's behind the form, which is the content, which is the motion, which is the joy and the happiness. So you heard it from me here. You are worthy of these tools that will allow you to move towards the direction of an expanded version of who you are, which is the one thing that's true. And these objects of form are magnets that create that motion, which ultimately leads to your joy and your happiness. So one of the things I have my clients do is to get real with the form that excites them. And you can take pictures out of magazines, get a big board, and have everything visually in front of you. So that's the first part of this vision exercise. And again, you're worth the vacation. You are worth the relationship because you believe that you are who you are is unlimited and powerful. You believe that why you're here is to gain appreciation for that, which is the only thing that's true. And your purpose every day is to reclaim more and more personal power. Well, intention and creating a catalyst for your motion will have you achieving what it is you came here for. I hope you guys are on board with that. So you see I drew a little piece of paper in the middle there. And you know, so many of the people I join with are business professionals. So what we articulate is, what is our money plan? So for my real estate people out there in the world, for instance, someone may say, my plan is to sell $800,000 worth of real estate each month. So that means I have 12 people that I take to the closing table, right, every year to achieve this. I'm selling 800,000. You know, that may be, you know, when I add that up, that may come to something like $12 million in real estate, and a little, I think 11. And what we do in our vision board is we place this piece of paper in the center of it, and we put names of people. And certainly as we close deals, that's in pen, maybe in pencil, are the people that we're working with that will ultimately be written in pen. For those of you who are in small business or coaches like myself, that money plan becomes a different money plan. And instead of saying, you know, I sell 800,000, you know, one house a month. It may be I have 8 one-on-one clients that I'm working with at any given time, and I have X amount of people in a group, and then those names would be in this piece of paper. So that's a really powerful tool for moving forward, envisioning, and staying true to your intention. The second piece of visioning that I'd like to introduce you to is what I call cues for cause. Cues for cause. Remember, thought is the cause, and what you experience is the effect. So everything I'm speaking about, more business, better relationships, that is the experience. Remember, that's the movie that will help us stay engaged and energized as we move every day down this path of reclaiming more personal power. So cues for cause, remember we went back and to that other the board, we said we want 12 clients that are going to buy homes that range between 800,000 and $1 million. Well, I would have 12 items in my office that would be gifts that I would give those clients when I go to the closing table. I know of agents who have 12 bottles of champagne, maybe at the top of their desk, or you know, whatever business, and you have these cues that represent the big milestones in you getting to where you're going with your business. That's a part of this intention setting. That is a part of what keeps us going as we move through our life. So I wanted to introduce you to that exercise of the cues. Now we're going to go into the actual intention setting and how we go and make this an everyday lesson, something that we do practically every day. So remember, we talked about intention breeds attention. So if intention is where I ultimately want to land, and here I am with my vision board, and here I am with my money statement, what are the stepping stones that get me there, right? I go here, I go here, I go here, I go here. So what are all of the stepping stones that get me here? So let me give you an example, and what I'm going to do is, if anybody's up for it, I can take you through what this looks like for you. So let's say on my intention, let's say one of the things I want in my life is a partner that I can grow with, a partner who's a companion. That's something that I vision for myself. That is the intention that I'm setting. A year from now, I'm in this very healthy relationship that energizes me. Well, there are stepping stones that ultimately will get me there. And there are times that I'm going to, you know, to actually take action. So one stepping stone may be getting clear on what it is that I want and communicate what I stand for, communicate my values, so I can create a statement. And maybe I take that statement and it becomes a profile on a dating site. Maybe I go visit someone who's in the business of matching up like-minded people. Maybe I visit a matchmaker. Some people do this. Again, I'm just taking this as an example. You know, one of the most powerful things you can do, and this is what I take my clients through, is I activate my VIPs. And I get on the phone, and now that I have my statement, I call them and I say, hey, Britt, this is Dawn. I'm reaching out to call you. It's been a while. You acknowledge them. Perhaps you go on social media and you see what's going on for them in their lives. And then you share with them, hey, what I'm consciously doing, I've set an intention for myself to get out into the dating world so I can, in 1 year's time, have an amazing vacation with somebody who shares my same values. And since you're somebody that shares my same values, I'm just letting you know that I'd really love for you to think of me as you meet people who would like to meet someone like me or go out on a date. Really, really powerful thing for us to do. And if we're business people, just this approach in general is so powerful for just reigniting and having people think of us. And when people are by our side, when people care about us, they want the best for us. It's an amazing gift that you give somebody when you give them a directive. And you know, when we get specific with our intention and going through this exercise here about coming to this endpoint where we have this partner, where we're going on this great vacation, what we're doing is we're giving the universe a directive. And when we give the universe a directive, we always receive that which we desire, because that's the natural law of the way things happen. So many of us don't understand it. We don't feel like we're worthy. So we miss out on what I'm taking you through. And just going down the path here, perhaps you go to more networking events. Maybe you put on your calendar a vacation for singles. And lo and behold, you're at this script. You're actually living it, and you're on that vacation. You're with that person, and you have created this motion for yourself where in the past, maybe you were just waiting for this person to fall out of the sky. You know, I was telling a story this morning. This happened just recently, yesterday, where I lost my keys. And I came home and I called a friend who happens to be on this call with me here. And my friend let me in. And maybe in the past, I would have just went to worry all the things I needed to do the next day to replace those keys. Instead, I got really quiet. So remember, Britt talked about the past and the future. An earlier version of myself would have maybe retraced my steps, gone back to the past, thought about the future, all the things that I needed to do. With this training, with this conditioning, I settled into the now. And I just sat and I quieted my time and I visualized those keys in my mind. And I was guided to the actual place where I found the keys, which was a car. We have something called Car to Go here in Denver that I parked near the restaurant. I got in my car, found my keys. I bring this up just so you understand the power of thought. Whatever you desire is inevitable when you get clear, when you focus. And intention, this whole exercise of intention, anchors are now so we can be guided to what is next for us. So let me just give you a summary, and then we'll go to the last piece here. And I will show you a sheet that I use with my VIP clients as a tool to take this intention to a 30-day plan. So remember, we talked about what intention was. We went into the reticular activating system and gave you an understanding that 400 billion bits come at us, and it's up to us to choose the 2,000 that are going to draw in the experience that we desire. We talked about that desiring is not a selfish act. Actually, desiring is something that is required for us to uncover what's true in this lifetime. So desire, owning it. We spoke of the exercise, the Jim Carrey exercise, and getting clear visually on what it is that we want. We went through the stepping stones, and now I'm going to show you an actual worksheet that I use with my clients. And then I'll just check in with you to just make sure you're all on board with everything we spoke about and what's next for you in moving forward. So here we go. So this is the coaching action sheet. The coaching action sheet that I use with my clients. And you can see what we went through today. A lot of when you move through the exercises that I introduce you today, you will have all the answers for this sheet. So the first thing is my theme. Well, my theme comes up from that which I want to see in my life. My theme comes up from doing the Wheel of Life exercise and the intention setting exercise. So perhaps my theme is joining with others, right? I want to find more people who are like-minded, so I'm more energized and I enjoy my experience. So that can be one person's theme for the month, or another theme can be trust. right? I want to turn off the fear, turn off worrying about the future, reliving the past, and just trust myself. So that's one thing we settle on. Then we settle on something that's called an affirmation. And an affirmation is the opposite thought of the story we keep telling ourselves. So for instance, if I keep telling myself the perfect man isn't out there, I'm going to continue to experience the perfect man not being out there. The affirmation that is born from a new paradigm shift would be, as I live intentionally, the perfect people show up for me. And when I repeat that on a daily basis, it becomes what I believe and what is true. And it has me moving forward in an inspired way, as opposed to being weighed down with that old thought. And when we were in session 2, we reviewed the power of releasing those limiting beliefs and strategies of moving through to new thoughts. So if you want to review session 2, that will serve you in a really big way. My money plan is for agents, perhaps I sell $1 million in real estate a month. For those of us in business for ourselves, perhaps it's I work with 10 VIP clients a month, and so on. So that's the money plan portion. Education, when you work with me, I have you listening to audios and reading books while we're doing work together. So that's something that we settle on. Next week, actually this coming Thursday in session number 4, I'm going to take you through what I call the 4 moves to momentum, which is settling in on what it is that you're learning, what is your skill building, what is your plan for exercise, what is your plan for meditation. Many of my clients are doing transcendental meditation, and I have them learning that so they can live in the now in a very big way. My brain metabolism, my creativity has gone through the roof since I've taken on this practice. And then the 4th area is journaling. And when we journal, we have more awareness for the stories that we're still holding on to that we can release. And that's something that I take my clients through. And then based on your intentions, what you're going to do is you're going to have 4 focus areas, 1 to 4 focus areas a month. And remember, we did that stepping stone exercise. So if a focus area is dating, then we will talk about, okay, all the different stepping stones on a weekly basis that you're committing to. Perhaps it's writing your profile, getting on a dating website, going to an event once a week. And that's how we make intention into our experience. And I'm going to go to my co-host again, just to give a better perspective on everything here. And let's see, whoops. I want to get you unmuted. Unmute. There you are.
Here I am.
So, Britt, I know we covered a lot here. With that said, how are you feeling? And I will review everything so we can digest it with you. So everybody who's here with us live and the hundreds of people who will be with us viewing this as a recorded class can really take this all in, okay?
Great.
How's that? So remember, the first thing we talked about was intention, how it breeds attention, and why the most important thing we can do is give ourselves permission to live big, as opposed to the old way that most of us are now still living, which is having this deep responsibility for fixing everyone else, right? Or changing the world. So what is your feelings around that? And I know you've done a lot of work around that as well.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing I can say is when you start this work is it will happen immediately. I did the coaching action sheet And within 2 weeks, my business exploded. And so really, if you're putting attention to it, into your intention, it will happen, especially when you put feeling and momentum behind it.
So when you're moving and when you get clear, the universe meets us halfway and does the heavy lifting.
Exactly.
That's it. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Exactly.
And this is the way this world works, but so many of us choose the hard way because we were told, you know, work hard and you will see the, you know, reap the benefits of your work, right? So, and
I just want to make one more comment on that.
Yeah.
I think that, I know that I was meditating today, and I know that I don't have to work as hard. I was always taught, work hard, work hard, work hard. You'll get the money, you'll get the reward. You don't have to do that anymore. You just have to put attention into your intention, and it falls into place, and trust the universe.
Yeah, and get clear. And it's not like you're sitting on the couch. You wake up every day extending your gifts, moving.
Mm-hmm.
And next session, we're going to show you how to actually take your intention and overlay your intentions on, you know, your year at a glance, your quarter at a glance, month, week. So when we have a day that's filled with items that allow us to pay attention to the stepping stones that lead to our intention, there's no room for fear. There's no room for all of the things that overwhelm us. I could have worried about those keys for hours last night. And instead, I was guided to call you to let me into my apartment. And I was guided to exactly, you know, where they were in this game that I've created for myself. So we talked about intention. The second thing that we went into in a big way was the reticular activating system, and understanding that 400 billion bits get thrown at us every second. We can only process 2,000 of them. So let's give ourselves the gift of thinking the thoughts that we want to experience, as opposed to regurgitating the old thoughts that have experiencing the same things over and over and over again. So when we get clear on our thoughts, it's almost, Britt, like if it's 400 billion bits, we get rid of all the crap and the jewels emerge. And that's what we attach to. And that becomes our experience. And miracles become a way of life, because we've cleansed ourselves of this old way of being, which is keeping the same thought patterns going and going and going.
Yep, great analogy.
You're with me on that, right?
Yep.
So we talked about that. Then we spoke about, we spoke about the, I got to go back to my screen here, the 1 year from now exercise, right? The 1 year from now. And I don't know what's going on my screen here, but we'll just stop there. So I'm just going to come on the screen with you. So the 1 year from now exercise, getting that intention into a story as if it was a play that you were writing, a script that you were typing out that will serve as your blueprint, right?
Yep.
We spoke about that. And then the wheel of life is what powers that. So getting clear on how satisfied am I in all the different aspects of my life will give me direction as I craft that.
Yes.
Then that intention, we break those items down and we do the stepping stone exercise, right? Remember, we took, as an example, I want this relationship, I want a companion in a year. Then we talked about what do I pay attention to, and then how that feeds into the action sheet. So,
yep.
And so that's creating clarity, guys. And I really urge you to watch the previous sessions. I'm going to share a screen with you right now to get more information, and also how to access. You see that, Britt, yeah?
Yep.
Cool. So what I'm doing with this series is creating a self-paced course. You're going to have these recordings for you to review. You'll have the worksheets to work through that which I've introduced to all of you. So everything that we talked about today is a worksheet. I want for you all to know that I guide inspired professionals to execute on self-mastery. That's executive self-mastery is what we build. That is the way of being in our life that has us treating every day as an investment in our journey towards our expanded self. And I do this through a 90-day consciousness boot camp where you can master how to be self-directed in your life and livelihood. Britt, this is something you've been doing with me. Profound transformation. And I thank you because I create profound transformation in my life with every single person that I join with. You're invited to set up a clarity session, dawnd.com/clarity. Many of you are taking advantage of this. And if you're here with me and you're getting these emails, you will have access to the online course where you can go through everything that I'm sharing in a self-paced manner, complete the worksheets. And I just want for all of you to be moving in a way where you're energized, you're working better, you're living richer, you're happy, joyful, and I'm just so blessed to be here with you. Thank you so much for being my co-pilot, Britt.
You bet, thank you.
And it's over and out, everybody, and we'll see you at the next session.